Welcome back to the live tonight, people. If you are not subscribed, you should be. But if you're thinking about fixing a plumbing problem in your own house yourself, and you're wondering, should I call a plumber? You should watch this video to the end. And you're going to find out from someone who has been a plumber for over 23 years. And I've run my own business. And today, I'm just going to talk about something what happened to me yesterday. So yesterday, one of my friends called me up. He just opened up his new shop. He wants to put a new toilet in the shop, right? And he says, can you come down and have a look at this? Because I want to change the toilet. And I turned up there, and as a plumber, you know, you look around, you say to yourself, this might need changing, that could do with changing, the toilet seat would do with changing, the siphon could do with changing because it wasn't operating correctly. So I don't just give them some bad advice and say, oh, do you know what, rip everything out. Because in this situation, yeah, the best solution isn't always the biggest solution. Do you get it? Like, the best solution is to replace the things which need replacing, right? And the things which don't need replacing, let's use them, keep them. And now you've saved money on the job, and you've got some money to possibly to put somewhere else. But that wasn't the only problem at that job, because he had another leak on a radiator as well, which obviously I need to drain down the system, replace that radiator valve. But my whole point was just that, as a plumber that wants to give people good advice and knows that good advice is out there, right? It's my chance for me to tell them, you know what, it's just a siphon. It's just a new pair of taps, what you need on that basin. And to make sense of everything else, if you just get a new siphon, now the toilet will flush properly. It'll be fine. Get a new toilet seat. It'll be safe for people to sit down on the toilet seat and use the toilet instead of ripping it out and getting a brand new toilet. For what reason? Do you know what I mean? I know sometimes when you look at stuff as homeowners and as normal people, aesthetically, things don't look the best. There's always a bit of Mr. Muscle cleaning that up, what you can do to make it look a lot better than what it does look today. Trust me. So I wanted to start the live off with that, because that's something which actually really happened to me. And my whole point of me being a plumber is not to be me upselling stuff to you. You know, I do definitely sell my advice to people when they ask me on things. Like a gentleman called me the same day. He wanted to put a washing machine in his mum's house, actually. So he said that they wouldn't mind putting it in the bathroom. It's accessible there. And I said, okay, cool. Send me a picture of the space where you want it to go. Also open the cupboard so I can see the pipework leading off and seeing where the waste is, and obviously seeing where the cold feed is as well. And obviously he has to be aware that he needs a power supply, and there isn't going to be many power supply sockets in the bathroom. I don't know how he's going to run that part of it, but that's something that I will talk to him about when he sends over the photos. So we discuss things in stages, right? Like, I'm not trying to make somebody work for me by take all the pictures and I'll quote you later. No. We'll speak about what needs to be done, and we'll speak about the options, what we have available. If you never tell people that there's no other option available but just to replace it, then as a plumber, there's some part of your job what you've just never really thought about. And I'm just being honest. So a big part of being a plumber is being sustainable, is being someone who is being able to replace, repair, or strip down and fix. It's one or the other, people. So the question on a lot of people's minds was, oh, but plumbers make money and you just want to make money out of people. Not all of us. That's not me, you know, and I'll be honest. And if I was a money hungry running person, I would never have time to do stuff on the internet. I'd never have time to make videos because, again, I'm out there chasing the money. That's not my MO. You know, I like to do quality work. I like to have reoccurring customers and customers that tell other people about myself and about how, you know, I called this plumber over. He was very helpful. He showed me what I needed to do. He gave me some tips on how I can stop, I don't know, my shower from getting blocked up again because it was blocked. That was the reason why it came out. And I was very happy with the service. And really and truly, I just want them to leave a review online. But I also want to leave them confident, competent, and happy with the services what I provide. So we're now going to talk about that moment, what you guys have been waiting for if you are a homeowner, which is, should I do DIY myself? This is a big question because, you know, as a tradesperson, yeah, a plumber at that, if you're a homeowner, it might be forced upon you in some type of way because you haven't got the money to be able to fix things. I get it. I understand. We're at a costly time in life now. But there are some things which I would say as a homeowner you could do if you are competent and you've had some type of experience doing it. And the first thing is a dripping tap, yeah, which is probably one of the most common things in people's properties. If you know how to turn off the water in your house, yeah, it's something that some people will attempt to do. But I had a customer who attempted to put in a kitchen tap because I reckon he bought it on B&Q or something like that. Cool. Thought it would fit himself. He got to it, and long story short, he didn't do up 2 of the compression nuts tight enough, yeah? So when he turned it on from the mains, water was pissing out. At that point, Mrs. is on you, mate. Look, get a plumber around. You're wetting up the kitchen. You tried to save yourself some money. It's not working. Let's get someone around to sort it. Ended up being myself. So I did talk him through what he'd done wrong because I feel that that's like a given thing for me to do to people, which is, as a homeowner, you should have tightened this up. You should have tightened it up. I know you probably wasn't sure about what you was doing, but I guess there are enough tutorial videos on installing a tap, putting in taps, you know, like doesn't matter what type of taps they are. There's a video on it on YouTube, 100%. And something like changing a washer in a tap, yeah, it's a very simple thing to be able to do if you understand the process, right? So how you watch people take something apart, like with a tap, it's normally got like a lip on it, right? So you need a flat screwdriver, prise that lip open. That lip's open now, and there's normally a screw which is holding down the head of the tap, which you turn it like that. So that screw needs to come out, and then you can take it out. And then now you need to make sure the water's off, right? The water should have been off before you started, but you should have known this. If you didn't know this and you've got to this point, pack it up. Yeah, pack it up because you can flood the whole house. The water's turned off. Now we're looking at the cartridge. Cartridge looks like this, right? So on the top of that head, you can see a little thread, right? And a screw goes in top of that. And then this body here, this screws into your tap. So once that's screwed into the tap, the only way to get it out is by a adjustable. So I've just got everything on tap, right? So you need a spanner, and it's a size 17 spanner to be able to loosen cartridges, right? This side is called an O-ring, but this O-ring has got a ratchet on it. And that's how we would take out a tap. But another thing I would say to homeowners, what they could do if they were, you have to be quite competent to do this one and quite confident, right? So say you've got a leaking toilet and you're going to change the toilet seat. No, say you've got a leaking toilet. I'm going to say a siphon is one of the things, but you think you've got to be very confident to do that. I don't want anybody to say, oh, they tried to do the siphon themselves and they flooded the yard. Again, if you don't know how to turn the water off, yeah, that's where you're always going to struggle, right? And having tools as well. Some homeowners don't actually have any hand tools. Surprisingly, my brother-in-law, yeah, when he came to my house, he was like, you got so much tools, man, you should sell some. And to me, as a plumber, as a tradesperson, I nearly saw red when he said you should sell them. I'm like, for what? For what? Every time I do a job, I need this. Every time I go out, I need this. So why am I going to start selling what I've got when I know it makes me money? I'm not going to do that. But I get it. It's the way he was thinking about it, right? And I guess a lot of you guys might think about it like that too. If I've got a house and I've got things that I could fix or do, but I don't have tools. Again, to me, it's a bit weird, but I'm just saying it because I've always had tools. You know, I've grown up with my dad having his own tool set, and I think as a child, I maybe got. I had a Meccano set. That's showing how old I am. Yeah, I had a Meccano set when I was younger, so I always had tools and stuff like that. So now I just know it's just going to be a normal thing, which I'm always going to have, right? So there is another simple task what you can do as a homeowner, and I think you just need to follow the instructions for this one as a professional, I would say. How to fit a toilet seat. You know, I get many people call me up and say, oh, do you fit toilet seats? I do, but it's like the amount what I have to charge you, you might as well just do it yourself and read the instructions. You know, it's not that difficult. It's two bolts or two wing nuts which sit underneath them. If you don't know what the wing nuts are or you don't know what a bolt is, again, I would tell you maybe you don't do it. Do you get it? Because you might have a toilet which doesn't have a toilet seat on it for ages. And again, that might not be a good look for everybody else inside the house. They don't want to be falling into it. So let's talk about those jobs where I think you should leave it to a professional. So you should always leave it to a professional when it comes to like something big, like changing a radiator. I wouldn't suggest homeowners to do that themselves, because starting off, being able to drain down a heating system, if you don't know how it works, could be a major problem for you. You know, you might not be able to isolate the water again from the beginning, or you might just be draining down while the system's filling up. People, again, if you don't know how heating systems work, you have some type of idea, you don't know. And obviously, you wouldn't be changing your boiler or doing something to the boiler because it needs to be worked on by gas safe engineers only. Yeah, can't be letting any Mickey Mouse person touch a boiler. And again, when it comes to changing a radiator or something like that, even though you fill the system up with water again, there is something which is called balancing your system. So therefore, if your system's balanced, all of your radiators heat up at the same time. It definitely saves you a lot more money, and you can turn down most of your TMVs, which are on the side of your radiators, to save yourself that little bit of wonga. You know what I mean? So my advice for homeowners, yeah, is that you should be honest with yourself. If you look at a task and you say, I'm not sure about that, or you've got this wonder, like there are a lot of videos, tutorials that can help you, but if you've got this wonder, I'm not sure, don't know, get a professional in. If you're a homeowner who doesn't know where the main stopcock is to turn off the water, honestly, I would always tell you to get a professional in if you've got like a burst pipe. But as a plumber, like I am, when I go to people's properties and I find out where the main stopcock is, or the main valve, or they've got a valve inside the house, I add that in with my summary of my job. I show them, I say, come, have you got 5 minutes? I want to show you something. So we're going to talk through the job, what I've done, how I made it safe, how I've done the repair. And then I'm going to show you where you isolate from. Because I might have got to your property and you're thinking, oh, you know where it is, isn't it? I don't. I've never been there before. I have to search for it. But I know it's going to be in any of these key places, right? So you might have your stopcock in the kitchen. It might be underneath your door at the front of your property, or it could be in the, they call it the, what cupboard is it? The closet underneath the stairs, or it could be underneath that. Yeah, I'm sure it's called closet. Yeah, I might be saying it wrong. All right. Anyway, not sure, but you get what I mean. Innit? Underneath your stairs as it comes in, it could be underneath there. That's where your main stopcock could be. So again, the main stopcock matters so much when it comes to plumbing and heating, because if you've isolated that water, you've now isolated the problem of your leaking tap, your leaking pipe inside your house. And now you're able to contain it until a professional turns up, like myself. And learning where that main stopcock is, you might spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes looking for it. But that 5 or 10 minutes is gonna save you so much fucking money. Imagine your house was flooding. You didn't know where to turn it off from. You found out where to turn it off from on Wednesday and it started flooding on Friday. You would feel like you are Mario the plumber. Do you get it? You'd be jumping around the yard and all that. But water damage is going to cost you thousands as a homeowner. Yeah? And damage to your property does cost you quite a lot. So knowing where your fuse board is, knowing where the main stop valve is for your gas and obviously your water as well, is so helpful. You know, I think some of the homeowners that go a bit further and understand like which manhole is theirs, like coming out of their property for the waste and all that, great. Because people like myself, it saves me so much time when I'm on the job, right? But I want to hear from any other plumbers and homeowners who do plumbing jobs themselves. I want you to drop me a comment to say, out of repairing a toilet seat, changing a siphon, or changing a tap, which one do you guys feel most comfortable doing? And why so? Have you had practice on it before? Was your dad a plumber? Or have you just seen a few videos online which helps you execute these things? So my top tip for people who are homeowners, right? If you've got a problem with your toilet, it not being able to flush or something like that, or blockage or something like that, you're gonna need to call a plumber, right? Radiators, gonna need to call a plumber, a heating engineer. General plumbing, some things you can do yourself, yeah? But like, if you're thinking about putting a basin in yourself, I mean, you're ambitious. That's what I'll definitely say. And me running my own plumbing business, I've seen so many people who are homeowners start something with really good intentions, you know, but they're just not able to execute it because they get to a point where, oh, there's water running out or something's happening. I don't know how to contain it. There's exactly what I mean. Understanding where that shut-off valve is. That shut-off valve is going to save you money, time, and stress all at the same time. So if you're a homeowner, my next question is, do you know where the main shut-off valve is in your property? Because it's your property. It's not anybody else at the end of the day. You should always learn where these things are for your own benefit. So I wasn't going to stay on too long on this one today, but I just wanted to drop that on you guys because I think there's many homeowners that ask themselves these questions. Could I fix these things myself? Am I competent, or am I going to call a plumber? So I've just given you a few things in this live where you can say to yourself, do you know what? Listening to a professional, they said, at this point, I reckon I should call a plumber. And do so as well, people. You know, not everyone's here to rip people off. Like I said to you at the beginning of this live, my friend who's bought his own shop now, and he was quick off the mark and said, I want to change the toilet. I want to do this. Let me have a look at it first, and let me tell you if it's really fucked, like, or you need to change it, or if you just need to change your components on it. You just need to get a new toilet seat, new siphon, change the handle on the toilet, clean up the flush cone in between, and then change the taps on the basin. It's going to look so much different. What I will try and do when I do that job, people, I'll show you a before and after, and you'll get exactly what I mean. Even if you're a homeowner, you'll understand it. But I want people to drop comments below. Like I said, if you're a homeowner, what would you do yourself? Would you change a tap yourself? Would you attempt to change a siphon? And would you attempt to change a washer? That's a good one. People, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. My name is Mr London Plumber. Let's get it.